To stay in touch with your BFF, get her latest book, or to watch episodes of the show, go to bfflive.com or follow her on all your favorite social media sites like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under BFF Host. If you'd like to book her for your next event or for direct coaching sessions, email Christina at bffhost@gmail.com.
Hey, it's your girl Christina Harris, your life coach, but more importantly, your BFF, host of Business, Faith, and Family. I want you to join me each and every week for Moments of Inspiration on the BFF Show, where we talk about a variety of different topics ranging from business, real estate, biblical principles, and more importantly, how to build a stronger family dynamic. Visit bfflive.com for the latest videos, events, books, interviews, or just even bookings. Thank you for your constant support, and I'll see you there.
You're tuned into Business, Faith, and Family with entrepreneur, author, and friend, your BFF host, Christina Harris. She has a wealth of knowledge, but more importantly, brings to you the love of God. Get ready to be blessed. Your life coach is here on the BFF Show.
Hey guys, it's me, Christina Harris here, and I'm actually coming live from my prayer closet. Yes, this week's topic was so deep that I needed to be in prayer about it. So I don't usually let people in here, so you're special. So this week we're going to talk about bad and or learned communication habits or patterns that we have that may have been more of a setback for us in our communication with, whether that be our friends, our family members, or our spouses or someone like that. So this topic was actually inspired by a relationship forum I attend on one Sunday a month. And we were talking about miscommunication between women and men. And basically there was a part that really hit me, and I had to ask myself a question for me. And for those of you who know me, I try to be as transparent as possible. I try to take ownership for what belongs to me so that I can grow and be my best person as I aspire to be great, in other words. But that requires a lot of person work, right? Hey guys, so I want to talk about how at the relationship forum on Sunday, we talked about a little bit about how communication is a learned behavior. So I asked myself, I was like, well, who taught you how to communicate? And when I got the answer back, I was like, okay, it all makes sense, all right? So those of you who know me, I am a Wallace, all right? I'm from a huge family. And unfortunately, my family isn't known for being the most friendliest family, all right? So I have a lot of combativeness, and I just have a fighting nature, I'll say, and that's how I was raised. So we fail to realize how our upbringing and where we're from and who raised us and the conditions in our environment has a huge play on who we are today and how we communicate. Even those bad communication patterns, is a lot of that is because of our upbringing. So this week I had posed a Facebook post that asks, what is your default communication pattern when you get upset, when you're in a disagreement, when you're talking to your significant other and things aren't going right? What is your communication pattern? And I ask myself that because I need to get to the root of whatever may be holding me back. I need to get to the root of, just understanding and acknowledging things so that way I know what I need to work on. I spent a lot of my life always focusing on what somebody else did, what somebody else didn't do, somebody else's shortcomings. And if somebody wouldn't have done this, I wouldn't have said this, and I wouldn't have done this. Now, I'm in a place where my life where I really am experiencing peace. But what comes with that peace is there's nobody to blame. There's no excuses. There's nobody to blame for my stuff. It's just me standing in the mirror all alone. So with that being said, with what I have, what I want to talk about in today's message, this is for the real grown and sexy, right? Meaning this is for those who really want to take a good look at themselves so that way they can change. So when we was at the relationship forum on Sunday, I had to make sure that my conversation, my motives, my intent was geared and facing me. So everything that I'm learning about communication, I'm coming into this with no expectation on teaching it to somebody else. I'm not worried about if a man communicates right with me, or my mother communicates right with me, or my coworkers communicate right with me. It's not always about everybody understanding and listening to me. So I had to really put my big girl shoes on and understand that I set the tone for how people are going to communicate with me. I set the tone for everything in my life, to be honest, moving forward. So I want to talk about communication, and I want you guys to be real. Feel free to type in, share, what are yours? When you get upset, what do? You ever see yourself act crazy, and then when you come back into your right mind, you be like, wow, did I really just say that? Did I really just do that? Wow, that really hurt them. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to flip out. I didn't mean to break that. Whatever may be yours, type in what yours is. So as we're going to talk about some of the things, I want to talk about when we come to people in communication, two things is going to happen. Either we come being the mature ones, not expecting anything, not expecting them to understand us or listen to us, or not even expecting an opportunity to be heard at that particular meeting. But when we come with the right motives and with a humble spirit and a submissive spirit, meaning I'm going to come first so that I can hear the other person's concerns or issues or heart cry. I want to come first. So with that being said, you have to come humble. You have to come willing to listen to them first and willing to understand them first. Hold your remarks, slow down your thinking, and just listen to them. So, and that's very difficult to do because sometimes people be talking all types of stuff and out of the side of their mouth sometimes, and it's a lot to process. But I promise you, when you have the right motive and a real love for them, and mostly the people who need us the most is our friends, our family members, our spouses, who need us to be the most patient with them. They go through enough outside of our four walls. So when you come humble, that's your first approach. And they'll catch on to, wow, for the first time, she's not arguing. For the first time, she's not belittling me. For the first time, she's not being condescending. For the first time, she's giving me eye contact. And then you'll more than likely have an opportunity to share what's on your heart after you submitted your spirit to them first.
It's your girl, Christina Harris, your life coach, but more importantly, your BFF, host of Business, Faith, and Family. I want you to join me each and every week for moments of inspiration on the BFF show, where we talk about a variety of different topics ranging from business, real estate, biblical principles, and more importantly, how to build a stronger family dynamic. Visit BFFlive.com for the latest videos, events, books, interviews, or just even bookings. Thank you for your constant support, and I'll see you there.
To stay in touch with your BFF, get her latest book, or to watch episodes of the show, go to BFFlive.com or follow her on all your favorite social media sites like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under BFF Host. If you'd like to book her for your next event or for direct coaching sessions, email Christina at bffhost@gmail.com.
Thing is what we all do. We go right into our defect mode. We start with the insults, sarcasm. We start with all of that, and still it lands us nowhere. And everybody just leaves feeling more upset. More things was said to really bruise the spirit even more. And then later on, we find ourselves unease in our spirit, sending this long text about how wrong I was. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, or call. And now that just added more stress. And at the end of the day, we still didn't get our point across. We still didn't hear them. Nobody heard nothing. Everybody shut down. And now I've set back the relationship more than when I initially intended on bringing it forward and bringing about change in communication so that I could see progress in a relationship, whether that's with your sister, your mother, your spouse, your coworkers, or whatever. So communication has to be, you got to be submissive first. And we always talk about we're bosses and we're this and we're strong. And well, let's adapt that same thinking, meaning that I can do all things through Christ. Let's do that same thinking and start to adapt that in pertinent areas such as this, bad communication, so that we can start seeing more fruitful relationships go forth. So we can start seeing more fruitfulness in us. It's nothing like when you communicate effectively and you heard the person's concern, you've carried what was on their heart at the priority of the conversation too, and not just what's on your heart, and you leave that conversation feeling success, effectiveness. There's going to be challenges this week, even after hearing this message. Even for me, it's going to be some opportunities to prove myself and to just work on. That's it. I always say not every test is for scoring. And some tests is just simply for you to see where you are and where you need to be and where you need to grow at. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is when we're not at fault for our upbringing, but we are at fault when you are grown and you know what your stuff is, we are at fault for not wanting to change or not putting much effort into changing. And some of the things that keep us from changing is when we focus too much on what other people didn't do, their setbacks, their disappointments, and how they didn't do something. But we never put that mirror on ourselves. So we have to be willing to change. Another thing is, you know why I'm really enthusiastic about really doing this person work in all transparency? I have 2 small children in my household. One will be 2 in a few weeks, and the other one is 9. I have a boy and a girl. And they look at me the same way I had to ask my question, who taught me how to communicate? They're going to be looking at me as far as me teaching them communication. And more stuff is taught indirectly than directly. So I don't ever want my children to communicate how I was raised and how I communicate now. So I know they have to be, you know, the center behind wanting to change too. In addition, as a woman of God, I'm not perfect, but as a woman of God, I'm accountable to everything I say. So I don't like to come to God always feeling, you know, condemned because I blew it again. I couldn't control my tongue. I couldn't control my attitude. So I know I'm accountable to God for this real change. So, and the beautiful thing about God is when you really get serious about changing some things that has been detrimental to you, He will give you the grace to really change. He will give you the patience with yourself and with other people. He will really help you out. So my goal is that everybody gets to a place where they just want something different. I'm 32 and I've been operating the same way, expecting everybody else to change except for me. I have to do something different now. I just have to. I have to. So, and I don't want to do it in the midst of something. I want to do it while I have this downtime to myself and I'm focusing on me and my children. This is when I have the opportunity to start really growing and cutting out some things that's been cancerous to my life or my personality or things like that.
Hey, it's your girl Christina Harris, your life coach, but more importantly, your BFF, host of Business, Faith, and Family. I want you to join me each and every week for Moments of Inspiration on the BFF show, where we talk about a variety of different topics ranging from business, real estate, biblical principles, and more importantly, how to build a stronger family dynamic. Visit BFFlive.com for the latest videos, events, books, interviews, or just even bookings. Thank you for your constant support, and I'll see you there.
To stay in touch with your BFF, get her latest book, or to watch episodes of the show, go to BFFlive.com or follow her on all your favorite social media sites like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under BFF Host. If you'd like to book her for your next event or for direct coaching sessions, email Christina at bffhost@gmail.com.
The next thing I wanted to talk about is how when we really want to communicate something to somebody we love, you have to come in a spirit of love. You just have to. You know, people wrestle. People got enough issues in their life that they don't need added stress. So when you really say you love somebody, you have to come to them in the spirit of love. You know, I grew up and I used to be one of those people that used to be very insensitive to people's feelings. You know, I grew up and I have some really thick skin at times because I grew up in a family that, you know, you had to fight your way through everything. But not everybody was raised that way. You know, so I have to be mindful about what I say, how I say it, take in considerations people's insecurities, their past, their upbringings, where they are right now in this season. Do they need another, you know, rock thrown at them? Or do they just need a hug and encouragement? You know, so we have to ask God for discernment. We have to ask God for wisdom. We have to ask God for when is the right timing to have effective communication. And we have to ask God to go before us and make every crooked path straight, even in our relationships when we talk about communicating. Because the enemy is just waiting. He's waiting for you to say something. It could be the truth, but it could be with the wrong motive. You know, a lot of times I meet people that say, you know, I was just keeping it real. You know, if they like it or not, oh well. And that's not the right attitude to have, because truth without compassion is still brutal. It's still brutal. And you don't want anybody telling you how it is, but you can see their motive coming all in the attitude. Like they get enjoyment of telling you your truth. So when you're conveying truth, do it in the spirit of love. That just makes you feel good about how you handle it. That tells God he can trust you with his people in their heart. You know, sometimes God will show you stuff about people, but it's not necessarily for you to go and tell them. It's for you to go and pray for them and for you to be sensitive to that thing that he's revealed to you about them. So it's so important to just be mindful about how we are communicating. Another thing I want to talk about is what are some bad communication habits. So yelling, being sarcastic, throwing things, belittling, being verbally abusive and insulting, bringing up the past all the time. I'm going to raise my hand. Bringing up the past over all the time, to throw it in people's face, or to get away from discussing the new or important content. You'll bring up something in the past because you haven't quite yet gotten over it. Hitting, punching, or breaking things, being combative, physically hurting people. Those are just Facebook venting. I put that on there. Yes, I did. Because sometimes we can be passive aggressive. You know, you won't come to the person in all honesty and love, but then you'll backbite them on social media or something like that. That's still a form of aggression. You know what I mean? So we have to learn and adapt some healthier ways to communicate. What I've learned is if you don't have anything nice to say at that moment, and if you know you got a little bit of self in there some way, somehow, try to hold off as long as possible and give that up to God first. Give it up to God first and really just back off of it, because you're going to do more harm than good. And that's something I'm ministering to myself about. I'm not the shut up and shut down personality type. I am like, I'm going to go 100, all right? And I'm not going to shut up. And I'm going to say a million things. So, you know, but there are some people who will shut down. And not saying shut down is a good communication pattern. It's just different from some of the other ones. But I'm saying basically, if you don't have anything, or if you know you're not in your right spirit at the right time, then just wait. Just wait. Just wait. And a lot of times, it's like I said, we have to go and ask God to ready the heart of that person that we want to communicate with so they can receive. I always say, if what you want to communicate is so important, check your approach. Because who has time to argue? Who has time to waste good seed on bad soil simply because you came the wrong way? If what you want to convey is so important, come with the right approach. Come with the right spirit and the right motives. Come in the spirit of love. Pray and ask God to go before you. And I bet you, since you're praying something that's according to his will, I promise you God will meet you there and bless that union right there. Whatever it is you're trying to communicate. We're at a place where division has to stop. You know, in our relationship with our friends and our family and our spouses, because nobody wants to be humble in their approach. So something I'm going to be working on, I don't know about y'all, but something I'm going to be working on is, for now on, moving forward, I'm going to come humble, ready to listen. That real listening, the same way I listen to my kids when they're telling me something happened at school. Like, wait, what happened? What did teacher say? That real listening and trying to really understand their perspective. Even if I don't have the opportunity to be heard during that sitting, at least I know I was the mature one, the bigger person to come, and I heard them and I really understood what they were saying. You set the tone for a lot of the relationships in your life. It's up to you whether you want to change the bad communication habits we all learned. We all learned something. That's not our fault. But moving forward as adults, when we choose not to do anything about it, nobody's going to tolerate our stuff for so long. I don't care how cute you are. Nobody's going to tolerate our stuff for too long. So get to work. Get to work. Get to work doing that person work. It only increases your self-worth, your stock, your value. We could put that on a resume. I've learned to communicate effectively. Sometimes we will fall short and drop the ball. But if you can get the majority of those opportunities in your grip and do a great job with the people that come your way and you having to communicate, I promise, that's nothing. That's not a change that you will regret. I don't want to be before you long. I pray that someone gets inspired. Feel free to share the video or like it. But more importantly, I want you to just ask yourself. This isn't about putting blame on men. Oh, if men knew how to communicate, if men understood, it's not about men and it's not about women. This is about you. This is about you moving forward. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week. God bless.
To stay in touch with your BFF, get her latest book, or to watch episodes of the show, go to BFFlive.com or follow her on all your favorite social media sites like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under BFF Host. If you'd like to book her for your next event, or for direct coaching sessions, email Christina at bffhost@gmail.com.